What's up guys, the winter 2023 season is already halfway through, so here's a list of my best anime for the season. This is actually a season with a lot of isekai in it, honestly, and not all of them are too noteworthy, so we only have a few that are interesting to watch, which I do have on my list. And I do have one other isekai that I did want to try to squeeze in, but it wasn't too great. It would probably be ranked 11 on my list, which is Campfire Cooking in Another World, and that's my honorable mention. The first anime on this list and ranked number 10 is Kyoko Sweety second season, or Spectre season 2. Honestly, this series had so much potential, but it failed in season 1 in my opinion. The entire premise was really cool though, with the male main character being an immortal and precog which he gained through eating yokais, and the female main character is a yokai goddess, but the way it was executed wasn't interesting at the slightest. However, for season 2, they switched the focus and it's becoming more interesting again. They are focusing not on the main characters as a focal point, but more on the side characters who are very interesting and unique, and these are characters that receive some sort of assistance from the main characters. So far, this season revolved around a case of a Yuki-onna, which is a snow woman, and a man falling in love with each other, which was honestly a very wholesome relationship and worth watching for that part or case alone. I also do have a small clip about these two specific individuals on my channel if you do want to give that a watch as well for an idea of what the kind of anime is. Essentially, the idea of the anime is basically that there are always some sort of cases and mysteries involved revolving the yokai and human world, and the female and male main character resolve those problems. So at the end of the day, it is a mystery anime involved with supernatural aspects such as yokai. Ranked number 9 is Isekai Nonbiri Nouka, or Farming Life in Another World, which is a fantasy slice of life Minecraft kind of anime. Basically, a dude gets transported with an OP farming tool to another world in the middle of a deadly forest, but with his blessed body plus artifact, he doesn't really struggle and builds a base which eventually grows into a large city. He also ends up taming any animal or people that come near him, which slowly grows out his village while at the same time creating an overpowered village because everything, including himself in the village, is super strong. Like, even the Mao and the Dragon King surrender to him eventually, but that's far into the story, and I'm not sure if the anime will cover that, but it should be near the end of the anime. The guy also gets a harem, honestly, which is the only part about the story since there's no cool male supporting leads and it's very generic, but at least he's not a beta male and actually does have sex and kids with his wives, and the author too, props to that guy for actually making the main character go through with it. But honestly, it does make sense given the premise of the story is a village sim type story. It's honestly a very chill anime to watch, and if you're into city building stuff, I do recommend giving this a watch. Next and ace is Danmachi, or Is It Wrong That I Want to Meet You in a Dungeon, Season 4, Part 2. Off note, but I really hate how the industry is adopting this new standard where it's like Season X, Part 2, Part 3 kind of thing. Like, just go with Season 2, Season 3, and so on. But anyways, this season is following the disaster that occurred in Season 4 Part 1 in the middle floors of the dungeon. There's actually some looming threat now to the main cast after what happened last, and there may even be some deaths in the main cast. I actually haven't read the novel yet, so I don't know what happens next, so please no spoilers in the comments. But anyways, what happened was Bell got destroyed the last time in Season 4 Part 1, where he fought this hidden and overpowered boss, and now the boss is chasing him down all the way into the deeper floors. So now Bell has to escape from the deeper floors while injured, while also being pursued by this boss. Not to mention the rest of his family is struggling on their own as well, so there's chaos all around, but it keeps you on your toes the entire time. It's super far into the series, which is the only downside. You have to go through 4 seasons basically, and some of the previous seasons aren't too great, but this season and part 1 of season 4 are very entertaining. The next anime on this list and ranked number 7 is Tomo-chan wa Onnanoko, or Tomo-chan is a Girl, which is a rom-com focused on a tomboy girl and a childhood friend who doesn't really see her as a girl. And you know, the tomboy has a crush on the male lead and wants to get him to like her and not see her as a bro type friend. Dude even gets all touchy-feely with her, like slapping her ass, for example. There's also some really interesting supporting leads, like the female lead's best friend, who is like the incarnation of doesn't give a shit about anything, and the foreigner classmate who is just an airhead and adds comedic value to the cast. It's kind of hard to explain in words why this anime is so fun to watch, since the premise seems hella generic, right? I mean, I guess it's mainly interesting because the characters make for a fun cast and the comedy is on point. Rom-com enjoyers, this might be something you'll enjoy this season. Next, we have Kubo-san wa Mobo Yurusanai, or Kubo-san Won't Let Me Be Invisible, which is another rom-com. This time, we have an oblivious male lead with an interesting quirk, and a very popular girl that is aggressive with trying to appeal to the main lead, but yeah, he's oblivious. The interesting quirk is that he's the ideal mob character, so he has no presence to the point that people don't even realize he exists, and they even consider it a blessing if they manage to ever see him in a single day. He's like a rare character or something, though for some reason the female lead can always spot him, probably because she's hyper aware of him through romantic feelings. Honestly, I said he's oblivious, but it's more like he can't figure out why in the world the most popular girl in the class would have feelings for a side character like him, and he assumes that she's just being nice to him. But it's really cute watching Kubo-san try to appeal to him and tease him. It's a definite must-watch for people that want something sweet this season. And ranked number 5 on this list is Buddy Daddies, which revolves around two hitmen or killers that find themselves raising the child of one of their targets after assassinating him. There's only one thing you need to know about this anime. It's that Miri, the daughter, is so precious. You guys know that saying where it's like every child deserves a parent, but not every parent deserves a child? Well, that's basically the idea of this story, except add that the new parents are two hitmen who have been neglected as kids or didn't have parents themselves, so have no idea what the hell parenting or families are about. So it's a chaotic household, essentially. By the way, it might be a two-father situation, but I can assure you it's not a BL or yaoi situation or anything. It's just a two friends, partners, or whatever that just happen to grow attached to the kid and don't want to abandon her. So it's a gag anime with some hitman stuff on the side, and Miri, the absolute psychopath child, who's also a nuisance but still so precious. So it's super enjoyable and cute to watch. Okay, so the next three anime I'm going to be talking quite briefly about since I've already talked about them in previous videos. At number 4, we have Vinland Saga Season 2, which I talk about in more detail in my Promising Winter 2023 anime video. But essentially, this takes place after a certain important character dies in Season 1, and Thorfinn loses his will and reason to live, making him pursue a farmer life as a slave. This season is basically Thorfinn figuring out the meaning of life and motivation to keep going. It's a very fresh experience compared to Season 1, so don't expect the same level of action since it focuses less on that, but it is still very serious. Also, this season is animated by MAPPA instead of WIT, and personally for me it has definitely felt like the animation quality has increased from Season 1. It's quite beautiful, so there's no worries of a Shingeki no Kyojin situation here. And at number 3, we have Tenten Kakumei, Tensei Ojo to Tensai Reijo no Mahou Kakumei, or the magical revolution of the reincarnated princess and the genius young lady. Look, I have an entire video on why to watch this anime as the best isekai this season and probably for the entire year, so give that video a watch for more information on why this anime is so good. At number 2, the best rom-com of the season is Otonari no Tenshi-sama ni Itsunomanika Dame Ningen ni Sareteita Ken, or The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. I've actually talked about this briefly in my 5 most promising anime winter 2023 video, but you can get an idea of the story from the title. It's a story of two very reserved people growing to love each other by helping each other out with chores while being neighbors and slowly closing the barriers between each other. It's basically extremely cute to watch, and both leads keep you on the edge of the just get married already seat since they don't want to overstep their boundaries and officially go out. And finally, ranked number 1, we have Bungo Stray Dogs Season 4. This season is amazing compared to the previous seasons, but let me start with one thing. The main character, Atsushi, to me, he is very bland. You know, the guy with the white hair? He's the typical shonen protagonist. But Rampo, the detective, on the other hand, is insane. I have a huge bias for this guy. In a world where supernatural abilities reign supreme, this guy is just a normal human without any special abilities, except his intellect is just so insanely high that his deduction ability is on par with supernatural. Man, just the first half of the season makes me super depressed at the potential this series could have had if Rampo was a true main character and not just a supporting character. I love this guy. He's like L from Death Note, except way more chill and childish, which is why the 4th season is resonating with me so well. We don't focus on Atsushi too much this season. Heck, I think he only showed up once in 6 or 7 episodes. It's focusing more on the agency as a whole and puts more emphasis on the other characters so they don't really seem like side characters. The entire plot following season 3 with the rats and Fyodor Dostoevsky is also super interesting since it's like the first major threat to the agency. Bungo Stray Dogs season 4 is definitely the hidden gem in winter 2023, and I hope more people get a piece of this. Give it a watch. The only downside is this is the 4th season, so you have 3 other seasons to go through, but I can tell you that the anime just gets better and better each season. And there you have it, that's the top 10 anime for the winter 2023 anime season. Let me know in the comments below if I missed any anime, and if you think that a certain anime doesn't belong on this list, for example, and I'll be sure to follow up with you on why I made that decision. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as it will help my channel grow. Thank you so much. Have a good day, guys. Bye.